Washington yields. And I'll recognize the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Hurd, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Tiffany. Deputy Chief Crockett, thank you very much again for your testimony this morning. One of the things that you mentioned in your testimony is some concern about Section 2 and the jurisdictional issues. I was looking through the statute itself, and Section 2, subsection C, subsection 3 explicitly says, and this kind of gets to Congressman Bence's question as well, the legislation is drafted explicitly says that treating federal land as Indian trust land, Indian forest land, I'm sorry, does not redesignate that land for any other purpose, including jurisdiction. Are you reading any provision of the bill as changing the jurisdictional status of the land, for example, transferring title or shifting criminal jurisdiction?
So maybe I misspoke earlier when I was referencing the transfer of lands to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. I had a hearing a couple of weeks ago, and maybe that was the one that was coming in. But based on what you just shared, I think that's the most accurate language in the bill.
Okay. One other thing, thank you for that. One other thing your testimony mentions is the commingling of Interior's trustee obligations with the USDA and Forest Service authorities. Can you think of any specific legal risks that this bill might create for the Forest Service, and whether those risks or concerns might be addressed through technical clarifications?
Yes, so there are legal risks. I have to follow up with our Office of General Counsel on the specific legal risks, but in conversations that I've had with them, they've talked about it in general. And yes, we look forward to working with the committee to name what those risks are and find a path forward on it.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Chief. Can you talk to me a little bit about the practical concerns about overlapping authority or coordination, especially during active forest management activities or emergencies like wildfires?
Okay, if you wouldn't mind, say a little bit more.
Sure. What, from your perspective, what concerns would you have about potential overlapping authority or jurisdiction when it comes to active forest management activities or emergencies like wildfires?
So as it stands, if a fire happens on Forest Service lands, we know what our jurisdictional responsibilities are with that. If the management is transferred, I don't think the bill speaks specifically to the other statutory requirements. I think it names specifically the timber assets that they would be in turn treated in such ways that are anchored to the tribal forest management plan. But I don't think the bill spoke specifically to other statutes such as wildfire management.
I'm just trying to think of how we might address some of the concerns, which I really appreciate you bringing forward as well. And I'm wondering, just off the top of my head, if there are any concerns that we might be able to address those through interagency agreements or planning coordination or something like that. I assume that would be possible.
Yeah, it would be no different than what we would do in any pre-season engagement with other land management organizations.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Deputy Chief Crockett. I appreciate it. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. And I now recognize the gentlelady from New Mexico for 5 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you here, Mr. Crockett.